Hello everyone, Brandon here with Enduro E-Bikes Canada, and today we have here a 1500 watt Enduro e-bike. This is bare bones, as simple as they come, with the only option being a road legal switch. This bike here features a Shimano 7-speed rear gearbox, as well as a KKE rear suspension. It also has on it the Zoom front forks and our A to B factory equipped braking system. This one here is equipped with our bicycle seat to make it look more like your average pedal bike rather than a motorbike. And it is a super comfy seat. As you can see, it's very, very soft. So you could definitely do long rides on a seat like this. We have a 8S color display that will give you your speed, your battery voltage, and all the criticals about the bike during your ride. This is the all-white frame as well as the white side panels, which you can custom build all these specific specifications on our website at www.enduroebikes.ca. Head over to the e-bikes tab, scroll down until you see the big yellow button that says custom build your e-bike, and you can build and price this exact model on our site. Today is going to be a ride along to get a first impressions on how this bike performs. Being that it's a base model, I'm not expecting too much, but nonetheless, I think this is going to be a really enjoyable ride. So that's enough chat for me. Let's hop on this thing and see how it performs. So here you can see on the color display is our kilometer per hour. That's how fast we're going. We have the motor temperature here as well as the motor output and wattage, your current trip distance as well as the time for the trip. And then here you have a number displaying the current assist mode. So you have modes 1 all the way up to 5. And this is basically just when you're pedaling, there's a magnetic sensor in the crank that's actually going to basically add in extra assist as you're pedaling automatically. If you have it at 5, it's going to be as if someone has cranked the throttle full on. And if you lower it down to 1, you're going to have very little throttle input as you pedal. So if you want to feel superhuman, you can use option 5, and if you just want the bike to help assist you a little bit, you can use option number 1. We can see up here our battery voltage is displayed. Minimum voltage for this 48 volt bike is going to be 40 volts. So make sure you keep an eye on that and make sure you never go below it. We'll have a more in-depth tutorial on this display and a full overview of all of its functions. In order to start riding this bike, there are no keys, there's no push buttons, there's no ignition. Simply just press the power button and you'll be able to turn on and off the display and start and stop the bike. If you deep dive into the advanced settings, there is a configurable number code password that would have to be entered before the bike would actually operate. So that's really nice to make sure that no one's going to just hop on your bike and run away with it. Here you can see the control for the gearbox. This one will make it go down a gear. This one will make it go up a gear. Here we have our half twist throttle for controlling the throttle via your hand. And here we have the road legal switch, which will basically cap the bike at 500 watt and 32 kilometer per hour, which is perfect if you're going down some busy park trails and you don't want to be going too fast. All right, I'm excited to get on the trail, so we don't waste any more time. Let's do this. The base model Zoom forks are a bit on the springy side, but they do soak up the terrain pretty good. So this bike is equipped with a 40 amp sine wave speed controller, as well as a 22.4 amp hour battery, which is the smallest battery that we offer on one of these bikes. The estimated minimum range is going to be 50 kilometers, and the top speed on the bike is around 50 to 55 kilometers per hour. You can see as we go up this incline here, it has no problem increasing speed. And that's thanks to the 1500 watt rear hub motor. It's a super quiet bike, very stealthy. You're not going to bother anyone riding this around. I really enjoy riding these bikes because you can cut through town, take the park trails, and avoid all the traffic. Really makes commuting an absolute blast. Let's open her up here on this straight stretch. I don't see anyone around for miles. It's a little bumpy. Lots of cracks in the pavement. All right, that's full throttle and we're at 50, just about 52 kilometers per hour. So to be 100% honest with you, that 50 kilometer per hour range is a really, really good place to be at. I think any faster than that and it becomes a little sketchy on a pedal bike. Let's see the stopping power on these stock brakes. That's more than ample enough to bring the bike to a quick stop if ever needed. All right, let's see if I can pedal up this big hill in first gear. Not a problem. And that's with only assist mode number 1. Let's try it one more time with a higher assist mode. So to change that assist mode, you're just gonna increase that number. Let's try 5. Oh, like nothing. Oh, that was easy. Yeah, number 5 mode is it's like being Superman. Yeah, it really adds a lot of extra torque with it on number 5. I think I'll turn that back down. Let's try shifting through the gears and see how this does. Actually, I don't even really need to. The bearings in this thing are so good, we're just cruising right now without any throttle at all. I don't see any pedestrians on the sidewalk on this path. Let's see what we can get it up to on the downhill. $60. So you get up on an extra 10 kilometers per hour if you're going downhill with the throttle on. And again, like I said, after that 50 kilometers per hour, it does become pretty sketchy. So we were gonna try out the gear selection here. So we're in first gear right now and I'm not grabbing anything. So let's slow down here. So there's first, that's second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Let's see how fast we can pedal up to in 7th gear on assist mode number 1. So you can get going pretty good with assist mode number 1. And in 7th gear, we reached about 35 kilometers per hour. It's not bad. All right, here we go, another straight stretch. Let's do an acceleration test. See how quick this thing gets up there. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, you're already doing 40. That's pretty quick, man. Those brakes bring the bike to a quick stop as well. All in all, I think this is a pretty great commuter bike. I love having the 26-inch bike wheels as an option on this bike because it makes it very easy to get readily available tires locally. Not that it's inconvenient getting parts from our main factory, as it only takes about 7 to 10 days. But it's always nice to be able to get a tire readily available right there, same day or the next day. Our second most popular option is the fat tire one here in Canada. People really like that one for being able to use it in the winter. And again, that's a 26-inch by 4-inch width fat tire, which is super common amongst pedal bikes. All right, let's open this bad boy up. Top speed, flat ground. Let's see what we get. 53 kilometers per hour. That's not bad at all. If you're thinking about what kind of shock options to get for the bike, I'd definitely recommend going with our D&M 8S front fork, as it's a really good in-between option, but it's a really good quality for the price. While these Zoom forks are the cheapest option, I feel like if you have the money to fork it out for the D&M front forks, it's a way better option to go with. All right, let's try some pedal action. No throttle, just pedal. It's a little jump coming up down here. Oh, you're getting pretty fast on the gravel. Oh man. That's such a joy to ride one of these things. It really is. The acceleration you get from that motor is just absolutely incredible. I think another handy option to get as well, being that every once in a while, because the bikes are so quiet, is that horn. The light and the horn upgrade kit is actually super handy. You can just give it a quick honk honk and everyone knows that you're coming and they can safely move off to the side. It's a great option if you're going to be traveling lots in populated areas. We don't see it nearly as often around here as it's a small town, but if you're in the big city, it would definitely be a must-have option for sure. There you go, proof of concept. There's a cop right there. I get so many questions all the time from viewers of the content that we produce. Drove past me, biking up on the bike path with the bike. We have a lot of customers ask about, laws, regulations, if they cause any trouble riding around on these bikes, and the police don't care as long as you're not doing anything illegal. So ride within reason and they won't bother you. While the 12,000 watt bikes are super powerful, you could definitely find yourself in some trouble if you started using its full potential around busy public walkways and streets. So we always highly recommend that if you're going to unlock the bike, you do it somewhere in the back country where nobody's going to bother you. This way, great bikes like these stay legal for everyone else to enjoy. This is a good scenario here where a horn would be super handy. This guy won't be able to hear me because of the train, but if I had the horn, he would. I really like the docile nature of the 1500 watt. It makes riding the bike a lot more enjoyable and controllable. While the 12,000 watts a lot of fun, it always feels like kind of a death wish as you ride that thing. It just has so much power. I think a great thing about these bikes is that if you had to and you need to keep up with the pace of traffic, you could easily do that. Because sometimes doing that 32 kilometers an hour on a busy street is actually more dangerous than just keeping up with the flow of traffic, especially if you're in the right-hand lane and they need to keep passing around you. Every time a car switches lanes, there's always the potential for them to hit you or someone else around them. Could probably get away with just by scooching by on the right-hand side there. I love the little shortcuts that you can take on these bikes. It's really great. Helps save time in traffic. It's always a good idea to check regardless. But because of the way the street's positioned itself, the stop signs are only really there for traffic coming off of the street. But since you're on the furthest right-hand side, the car can still safely pull into the actual main street. So I've already put 26 kilometers on the bike, this battery charge, and we're at about 75% battery still, so that's pretty good. I'd definitely say our minimum spec estimate for it being 50 kilometers of range on this bike is definitely more than ample. We always like to be really conservative with the numbers so that nobody's disappointed if their bike with their bike. The bikes will always do more than what's listed. I think this is probably a gooder place than ever to end it. All right, you guys. So that is a first impressions of the Enduro 1500 watt e-bike. Overall, really impressed with the performance of this bike, especially for the price. Being that it's a base model, it does look super cool. The 26-inch bike tires are a huge convenience for trying to find extra parts, because any local bike shop is already going to have rims, spokes, and tires in stock for a bike like this. The 7-speed gear train is super handy to have. If you've ever tried to pedal home a 12,000 watt e-bike with a single speed gearbox, you would know that that is quite a challenge in its own right. So it's super nice to have the 7-speed gearbox in the back, because even without the battery assist, you're going to be able to actually pedal this thing relatively easy. While the Zoom front fork doesn't offer the smoothest ride in the world, it gets the job done. If you have the extra money to fork out for the D&M front forks, highly recommend that you do so. Those forks are a huge upgrade from these Zoom forks. However, if you're going for a specific color scheme and maybe you want to have the gold rims with the gold front fork, of course these would be an awesome option for stylistic choice-wise. Again, this was Brandon with Enduro E-Bikes Canada. If you guys have any questions about the bike, make sure to reach out to one of our sales reps and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. See you guys in the next video.